fan engagement.
You try to win favors.
All right, you're
period.
To
right.
me, you try to win favors
With the fans?
And then on top of that, even if you do win
they're
favors,
the fans, they're our audience, Flip.
even if you do win favors, you try to point out everything else that nobody do.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Did you watch Joe Budden's podcast with Marc Lamont Hill and Queenzflip?
Listeners, please don't take me as a hater, but I do not watch that show. I cannot stand that show. And when I see Mark on the show, I said to my friends the first day, I was like, this is going to lead to one of these moments where we are going to be talking about, because everyone was doing the rising tide thing. And I said, I hear what you're saying. Rising tide lift all boats, but not always.
All right. We might have a difference of opinion on this, right? I absolutely loved when I saw that Marc Lamont Hill was going on this podcast, because, and let me shout out Joe Budden, which I never thought that sentence would happen. But
yeah, go ahead.
He is the quintessential Virgo. So let me just say that, in the sense that they may not be the mess, but they don't mind the mess. And they also got comments on the mess. And he's like the pot, and he's instigating.
Sometimes he be the mess, but he's been a lot less the mess. Since he got his homies out. Yes. He's outsourcing the mess.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. I love it. Can I just say secretly? Yeah. I envy his situation. It's something that I've wanted. Like, so, I've been on these airways 11 years, but 20 something years ago, I had a radio show in New York where I had somebody on who was not intellectually capable of being on the show with me, but had all of the ego and bravado because he was of unmelanated, unsalted, unseasoned chicken, doesn't wash below his legs type of guy, right? But everybody gassed him up to think that he could do battle with me. Now I'm young, still, I'm like in my late 20s, early 30s. And late 20s, early 30s, Karen, was brutal. Let me just say, I mellowed. Okay. So this guy came in first day on the air and used the N-word and, and in a quote. But you know that slick stuff.
The loophole,
right?
The loophole.
Yeah. Well, David Dinkins said the word with the hard R, and I sat there and I was shaking that first day because I said, this mother, and it's live radio, 6 o'clock in the morning. I got to sit with this motherfucker, and he's going to be doing this racist stuff every day. So I went into the lab and got cooking. And every day I commenced to laying his ass out. It was so beautiful. The audience loved it. By month 3, he started bringing Maylocks into the studio. During the break, he was swinging that thing back, and I said, got him. Because I'm prepared, and mentally you don't even have anything for this, right? So it was interesting, and I knew it was good radio. And then he started calling in sick, and then he got fired 6 months in.
Okay.
But what I missed today, I don't have that, And for Joe, he surrounded himself with these people who might be, mildly entertaining, but they ain't really bringing nothing. He brought Marc Lamont Hill into the thing, and it instantly created the kind of friction that both exposes and it's delicious to watch, right?
Right.
Let me just say, I would never say this Monday through Thursday, but on Friday, I envy that dynamic. The closest I get is on a Friday with you. That not from the sense that we're diametrically opposed views, but you at least are gonna give me some pushback on some things, and we can have a healthy conversation, which Mark is always gonna bring. They can't deal with that. So I want to have this conversation today, and I want to ask this question because I think it's an important, to me, an important display. The majority of people who are watching even this program, listening to this program, are more in line with Ish and Itchy and Scratchy. I don't know, Ish and Flip. They're more that. They're not they don't have PhDs. They're not, erudite. And it's no knock. Like, most people are not going to do that kind of study. I don't have a PhD. I'm not going to do that kind of study. That said, it's interesting to watch. Like, at least I know my role. Like, when I sit with Dr. Carr on Saturday, I ain't trying to battle that man. I'm going to sit there and he'd have read more books than I could even turn a page on. So I'm going to sit and I'm going to ask questions because I know I'm in the room with my intellectual superior, and I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to engage in a way that I can walk away better. Mm-hmm. They are there to battle because somehow they think they're on the same level. Once they realize they're not, they're going to try to leg sweep them and do the gotchas and see you're not that smart. But it actually speaks to an insecurity than it does like you're on a platform with a guy that has done some study. Right. Don't battle, like your inner should say, I'm not going to battle him here. There are other areas that you may be stronger, and that would make it better, but you're not willing to do that work either, which is what Mark has said to their faces. I said, oh my God, he said it to your face, and you don't have an answer for it other than to get angry. But it got a little heated this week. So I'm going to play a little clip from it. And I see some people already got names for Andrew, so I'm going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to play just if you because you haven't watched. I'll play this clip. Smith, play it.
It ain't about personal life. I don't want to make it sound like that because I want people to think.
You talking about anything that I tell you, anything that happened, I can talk about,
and it's for you to talk about. What I'm saying, I won't.
So anything that I'm saying, I won't. So if you allude to it, because you say a lot of tricky words.
No, I don't. So I say regular words that's tricky to you.
Tricky words, funny as shit.
That's another thing you do, right? Like, you the busiest man in the world. You spend 1,000 hours trying to communicate and speak to people to be accepted by people that this community built through the community. I don't need to do that.
That's our job.
Nigga. I believe in myself.
That's
and I believe
our job.
In what I do. Our job is to come up here and work and show and put our best foot forward.
And that's what I do.
That's our job. And plus, do other shit behind the scenes.
You mean like promote the show?
To try to win favor. You try to win favors.
Fan engagement.
You try to win favors.
All right,
period. To me, you try to win favors
with the fans.
And then on top of that, even if you do win favors,
they're the fans. They're our audience.
Even if you do win favors, you try to point out everything else that nobody do. That's sucker shit to me.
When do I do that?
You try to point out.
Don't call me a sucker no more. 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 Don't call me a sucker no more.
That's sucker shit. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit. I can take that. I'm not calling you. I'm saying that's sucker shit. You're not a sucker, but that's sucker shit.
And I'm telling you, you say that sucker shit, I take it like you saying it to me. So I'm saying.
What I'm saying.
Let's do this. Let's both calm down. No.
Stop doing that.
No, I'm saying let's both calm down. Let's both calm down. Because I'm telling you right now, the way you're talking to me, I'm taking a different way. So let's both calm down.
So what does that mean, though?
I'm saying let's talk like brothers.
You don't gotta say that.
I'm saying because and you ain't gotta say that sucker shit. So I'm saying let's both.
You're not a sucker, but I said the behavior that happened. Then we good.
Then we good. Then we good. Now let's get back to the show.
But that's why you saying that?
Because when you say that sucker shit, I take that as disrespectful. And I take that as to me. So I'm trying to tell you.
But there's a lot of shit you say that we take disrespectful. But for
and there's a lot of shit you say that I take disrespectful. I'm not gonna talk about it on air because I'm not you.
I'm afraid.
So at the end of the day, I'm not you. This is what you do, and then I'm gonna leave you alone. No, fuck that.
Yeah, that's Mona.
Imani, I'm not potting. Nigga, don't fucking stand up. What the fuck is you doing?
So they stand up.
Are we talking or we potting?
Y'all are making
we can talk outside or we can pot. Then let's talk outside.
So they get up and then they want to go outside. But Joe's like, you're not messing up my business because outside is still inside. Y'all gonna take, he said, take that to the project someplace. Y'all not doing none of that. It was interesting. Mona was scared. She said, I'm concerned. I don't feel safe. It was both. And it was real, though, because you could see the veins pop. And what was even more interesting, because Flip also, I think, believed that he might be able to take Mark. But I'm here to tell him that you were going to lose that battle, too. Like, that was you were about to get an L on all fronts. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying it's interesting to me. But I feel like, and I'm going to draw a direct parallel to the condition that we're in right now, because people actually rock with the ignorance because it lets them off the hook from having to actually work on themselves. And this goes across racial lines, etc. And it's why Trump is so popular, because in this unread person, this unread, unwashed, uncultured, undignified person, at least you're not that. At least you're not that. And anybody that actually does something more, you don't feel like you can live up to it. So it's just easier to default to the lowest common denominator. It was crazy to watch. At the same time, I was like, this is America. Thoughts and prayers, Roderick Morrow.
I mean, so to me, this is like something I think about a lot as a person that, you know, does what I do for a living and gets invited into spaces. And I think about where would my impact best be felt and where would it be a change agent. And I thought about that with Marc Lamont Hill, and I was like, the amount of ignorance that happens on that show, it's more likely that he'll be pulled into something where now he's losing his cool rather than they'll be uplifted and elevated into something where people are being educated through listening to that show. And I feel like this like vindicates how I felt when I first heard this news, because I had friends, you know, some people that know Marc even being like, oh yeah, you know, this will be good. And I was like, I don't think so. I think the things that resonate, this moment will resonate more than the moments where he's really saying something that makes people go, wow, I had not thought of it that way.
See, and I knew we would see this differently.
I think content won over message in this. This is the kind of clip that does go viral. You hope people tune in to hear him when he's doing other stuff, but I think even when they tune in, they'll be looking and hoping for some more of this ignorance. And I think for 6 months they've been hoping, because even the clips people have showed me in the past, they've always been like, "Oh, he told him the world wasn't flat, and look how mad he got." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know where this leads, right?" Those kind of guys don't go, "Hey, you know what, Marc? I looked it up, and Friday you said the world was round. I did some research. It's Monday. You was right." They never do. They just keep doubling down on the ignorance.
Here's where the conversation should happen. Why do you think that is? Right? You know, as I was watching this, you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think that this is a knock on Marc Lamont Hill. I don't think
it's not. I'm not saying
I don't think this makes him look bad per se. If anything, especially when he said, "I don't use tricky words. I use regular words that are tricky to you." I said, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Ouch.
I mean, I struggle with, I guess that's what I'm saying is like, I struggle myself with where do you go? Like what spaces do you go? Nah. You know what I mean? I have, I mean, in this industry that I got friends that if they got to promote a project, they be on the Breakfast Club. I don't know what happens the day someone comes to me and is like, "Hey, PR person, you need to go on the Breakfast Club and promote your thing. This is where we've decided the impact would be best felt." I don't know how I would deal with that, because part of me is like, I don't see that as a avenue that I should be helping in any way. I agree. And I don't necessarily want their help. But then at the same time, it's like, this is what people smarter, bigger, better people than me have all decided this is the place to go. So why am I letting my ego stop me? Maybe it's a good check to go on Budden's podcast and try to spread the message. I don't know. So I struggle with is my point. I'm not down in, I'm not trying. Listen. That's why I said I didn't want to sound like a hater, because I'm not down in Marc any more than it's just not a platform that I think edifies much.
I 100% agree with you. At the same time, I think it is a good exercise to see this is why we are going to have to individually make some different choices in our lives if we want a different world, because this is the world. And this is not a conversation I would have Monday through Thursday, but I think on a Friday, which we do Foolishness Friday here for those of you who are new to the show, I like to open, the floodgates up to have a different kind of conversation rooted in a little bit of foolishness. But I think you're absolutely right. It is the thing I struggle with every day, because I could absolutely, I sat at the feet of Wendy Williams we did 5 books together. Mm-hmm. I actually competed against her for 6 months when I was on the radio in New York, 3 to 6 p.m. in New York City.
Karen,
yes. And let me tell you how many callers would call in and say they couldn't listen to Wendy anymore after listening to me. And it was starting to resonate, because there's a teaspoon of sugar, which is what Fridays is for me, that helps the medicine go down, that people unfortunately need, because the bridge between an Ish and a Marc Lamont Hill that you have to build, or a Flip, is so vast and wide. You know, if me every day sitting here programming, to me the most perfect example of that is our morning show, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with Dr. Greg Carr, Lamont, damn, I'm thinking Mark Lamont Hill.
Lazy Lamont.
Lamont King.
Lamont King.
No,
yeah.
Lamont King. Two people, who to me are, not completely different because they're both men and they're both alphas. But, after that, how they move in the world, completely different. But the combination works because when like an Ish opens his mouth or Lamont, there's people who can relate to that. And so it's not so hard to come in and get this knowledge. And that's the way I think Joe maybe said it up.
And people want to see it. Like, I don't know that Joe is as mindful about that as much as it's like, this is good content. Because
it is good content.
Conflict is good content, period.
It is always. But how do we have conflict? Because right now there was a town hall this week on Newsmax or whatever, the Kennedy Center, and they had the panels and some people on the stage. And I was like, this is some bull crap. And then that young 20-something-year-old Democrat kid lit everybody's ass up. And I was like, okay, this is good. In my mind, I was like, I would never do anything like that because I hate this kind of like left-right bull crap, and it's not a real conversation. It's not for real people, but at least, we got something out of it, So I'm just like, I too struggle with the same thing that you struggle with.
I'm reading this book right now, Digital Madness, about like social media and a bunch of other stuff happening at the same time. And I think maybe the last year or so of my life, I just keep thinking about content over things that are like truly artistic or intentional. And like content has won so much, and all of us have been preyed upon by it and been victim to it and contributed to it. But it's so interesting to see like when something is just a piece of content, like, and you're like, man, because like if say this was a scripted TV show, right? Like we wrote a script. I feel like we could get to this conflict in a way that edifies, that educates, that informs, in a more like in a manner that could still be entertaining, but would actually leave the viewer with something. This just feels like putting two
WWE.
It feel like putting a rat in a mongoose in the cage with a cobra and being like, fight, and then being like, hey, did you see that fight? Now that was crazy. And it's like, I don't want to give the ringmaster too much credit because I'm like, I don't think you did that from a good place of like, no, educate the audience. It just happened that way.
I don't think Joe Budden cares about anything but the commerce that this produces. To your point, and both of us are wired the same way, which is why I absolutely love you in the sense that we don't do what we do for commerce. We would do this with no commerce. We have done this with no commerce. So that's not the goal. The goal is edification for those of us. But my larger question is, because it's a responsibility of everyone who tunes in, and I get it. You want to be entertained. At what point is the entertainment detracting from your growth as a human being? And I know that's a deep conversation.
I think that's really the thing you hit on right away, and it's just so true. That's why, like I said, I feel so like conflicted about it. It's like it just gives people an excuse not to be better. Because it's just like it's like how people used to think like, oh, my 600-pound life and Biggest Loser is gonna make us all lose weight. It's like, no, America's actually fatter after Biggest Loser than before. Because when you look at Biggest Loser, you know what you're actually thinking is, I'm not 400 pounds. I'm not 600 pounds. I'm gonna sit on the couch, eat these chips, and watch these people be mad they got to do sit-ups or whatever. And it just keeps you from thinking about the sit-ups you need to do. And I feel like watching that conflict, like you said, over and over, it makes people stop thinking about the mental sit-ups that they're not doing. We can all laugh that he thinks the world is flat, but there's a lot of other stuff that we could be educating ourselves about too, that maybe it's not as cute and funny, but like I find it abhorrent how few people know anything about United States civics. Just in general conversation, when you start talking to people about how things work, not just what you want to happen, but like, how would we make this happen? It's a lot of people. I'd say the majority, not the minority, who can't tell you like how a bill becomes a bill, a law becomes a law, how we supposed to go to war versus how things get declared. What the difference is between universal health care, Obamacare, and all that, like all that type of. Some of them can't even tell you the difference between Obamacare and Affordable Care Act, which is the same thing. Like they don't even know it's the same. Right. So like it's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's easier to watch him be ignorant, so you never think about your own ignorance. But that's definitely why people tune in.
That is a conversation I shared yesterday. I was in the grocery store in the bread department, and the bread was too soft. It had just come out the oven, and she's like, I'm gonna tear up your bread if I put it in a slicer. I said, do it anyway. I'm gonna take responsibility for it. If it's tore up, I'll just take the tore up bread. I won't hold you accountable. Not like the people that didn't vote. And she said, well, I voted for God.
Whoa.
So which told me that she didn't vote. I cast my vote for God every election and blah, blah, blah. And I said, do you live somewhere? She said, yeah. I said, you have garbage picked up. You got schools there. Yeah. I said, that's all politics. So you let somebody else make your choices for your school board and who picks up whether or not your garbage gets picked up or what's going on, whether your roads get fixed. You let somebody else make those decisions. And she didn't have an answer for it. But I knew in that moment, well, God put those people in place. I said, no, God sent you here.
Yeah.
He gave us all free will. If that were the case, this world would be much better if God was just controlling everything, your God. But it depends on all of us to do something. Yes. And that's step number 8 in the 10-step power play. Like, you have abdicated your power, your godhood to other people.
She looked at you and said, okay, but did you see that this dude Ish, he think the earth is flat or whatever?
And look, I told you, and you know what was bad? The bread didn't tear up because I knew it wasn't going to tear up.
Right.
And my bread was sliced perfectly, which I knew. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was like, I'm not arguing with you. To that point, I'm going to end with this. We're going to go to a break. Speaking of really brilliant people, and there's some people you just know you're brilliant. You're not going to argue with them. Neil deGrasse Tyson's one of those brains that you're just going to know that the man did the work. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to give him that deference. Let me just put that over there.
Right.
I think the ego part of that is like, we're both men sitting in this place together. We're the same. You're not going to make me feel less than, and all the cameras are on me. You're not going to make me look stupid. But you're coming in with an inferiority complex and it's on. Why? We already see it. Right? Because a really smart person would say, this man has done more study than I have, read more books. Let me play my position, or let me do some other study that I'm actually good in. What are the areas that I'm good in, and get to work? Instead, they gave up. They gave up on everything, and they show up and just sit there and throw out comments.
Also, like the ego clicked for Marc Lamont Hill too, right? Because you could have let him be like, okay, you think I'm a sucker. You think the earth's flat. Okay.
So I'm gonna be
you're wrong about 2 things today, buddy. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But even he understood the intended disrespect, and responded in kind, and he's human.
I also think that might have been a little calculation that while I got this big brain, I also got these hands.
Maybe, but I mean,
so I think there might
fold them up then. Fold them up then.
Well, he got up. They got up. He was like,
fold them up.
Like, I thought that was going to happen.
That's another reason. Listen, as a black man of a certain age, that's another reason I understand the spaces I enter. I do a lot of stuff, play basketball. Every conversation I have, not an intellectual conversation. But like, you might have to fold somebody up sometimes when you pull out the big brain on them. Not everybody respond to the big brain in the manner that you would think they should. So listen, it can happen is my point. I think that's the other thing I realize about those spaces is like, am I going to have to fold somebody up on them? Like, bro, we just talking about whatever. Like, it don't need to be all this, but at the same time, I can't walk around always being disrespected. I'm not Jesus. I can't turn the cheek every time.
No. Don't let them smooth glasses fool you. Roger got hands.
They come
I'm
off.
here to tell you. I heard some things. All right, let me play. Let me play this Neil deGrasse, because that's the other thing people underestimate. They say, you would never do that, so I'm going to stand up over you. That's what he did. He stood up. You don't stand up over somebody. Like, don't do that.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will